The House will come to order. Members, today let us bow our heads for a few moments in silent reflection in our own traditions. Pledge of Allegiance. Please remain standing and recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. The clerk will take the roll. The clerk will call the name of the member participating remotely.
Lee F. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Lee F.
Go.
Lee is present.
Lee F. present. Thank you.
The clerk will close the roll. A quorum is present. Members, in the chamber with us today, we have former State Representative Anna Wills, who served this body from 2013 through 2018. The clerk will read the journal of the preceding day.
Journal of the House, 94th Session, 2025, St. Paul, Minnesota, Tuesday, March 11th, 2025.
If there is no objection, further reading of the journal will be dispensed with, and the journal will be approved as corrected by the chief clerk. Hearing no objection, the journal is approved as corrected by the chief clerk. And members, I want to remind you to please take your conversations to the alcoves or the retiring room. Reports of standing committees and divisions. A copy of this order of business is on your desk and online. If there is no objection, the reports will be adopted. Hearing no objection, the reports are adopted. Second reading of House files.
Second reading, House File number 550.
Second reading.
Second reading, House File number 1218.
Second reading.
Second reading, House File number 1531.
Second reading.
Second reading, House File number 2131.
Second reading.
And second reading, House File number 2133.
Second reading. Introduction of bills. The following House files have been offered for introduction today. The chief clerk will report the House files and give them their first reading.
Introduction of first reading of House Files 2153 through 2273.
First reading, House Files 2153 through 2273. Calendar for today. The first bill on the calendar for today is House File 28. The chief clerk will report the bill.
House File number 28, number 2 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to energy, providing for data center energy generation redundancy.
I recognize the author from Sherburne, Representative Mekeland, who will explain the bill.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. House File 28 is accomplishing the collaborative goal of bringing more data centers into Minnesota by addressing concerns shared by stakeholders in regards to behind-the-meter backup generation to support large data centers that are being considered for the state. By not addressing these concerns, these stakeholders would most likely reconsider investing in Minnesota and instead build their data centers in neighboring states, which would carry the same energy load to MISO grid, but would deprive us of many economic benefits. That is the bill.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that House File 28 be laid on the table.
This is a non-debatable motion. Representative Niska has moved that House File 28 be laid on the table. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion prevails. The next bill on the calendar for today is House File 500. The chief clerk will report the bill.
House File number 500, number 3 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to labor, modifying the Nursing Home Workforce Standards Board.
I recognize the member from St. Louis, the author of the bill, Representative Zeleznikar.
Madam Speaker and members, House File 500 is a bill that basically ensures spending authority and oversight of the budget remains with the 201 members of the legislature that were elected to serve Minnesotans, not a 9-person board appointed by the governor. This bill, as you know, I was a nursing home administrator. I worked with seniors for over 30 years, and this bill will allow us to have a collaborative partnership to address senior services in Minnesota. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that House File 500 be laid on the table.
Representative Niska moves that House File 500 be laid on the table. This is a non-debatable motion. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion prevails. The next bill on the calendar for the day is House File 1233. The Chief Clerk will report the bill.
House File number 1233, number 3 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to human rights, creating an exemption for women's athletics in the Human Rights Act.
I recognize the member from St. Louis, the author of the bill, Representative Zeleznikar.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. House File 23 provides an exemption for women's athletics. Aligning with Title IX, this bill is necessary to ensure federal funding continues for Title IX in Minnesota. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that House File 1233 be laid on the table.
Representative Niska moves that House File 1233 be laid on the table. This is a non-debatable motion. All in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion prevails. The next bill on the calendar for today is House File 1362. The Chief Clerk will report the bill.
House File number 1362, number 5 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to environment, modifying reporting requirements for certain environmental review.
I recognize the member from Crow Wing, the author of the bill, Representative Heintzeman.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. 1392 is a bill requested by the Environmental Quality Board, otherwise known as the EQB. It repeals a mandatory report to the legislature on evaluation and recommendations for mandatory categories of the environmental review. The EQB testified that the report is unnecessary. In committee, they also said that the evaluation of mandatory categories can be better accomplished through their continuous improvement process for environmental review.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that House File 1362 be laid on the table.
Representative Niska moves that House File 1362 be laid on the table. This is a non-debatable motion. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed say nay. Motion prevails. The next bill on the calendar for today is House File 6. The Chief Clerk will report the bill.
House File number 6, number 1 on the calendar for the day, an act relating to education, modifying the READ Act.
I recognize the member from Freeborn, the author of the bill, Representative Bennett.
Thank you, Speaker Damas. Members, House File 6 covers the following priorities, where literacy is learning, local control is innovation, and empowered parents are engaged parents. And it also includes flexible funding and mandate relief. The bill is divided into 3 articles. The first article is the READ Act Reset. In this article, we make it clear that the state of reading instruction is to be based, or for the state, the reading instruction should be based on the science of reading, and that our children have the fundamental right to read. This article also repeals the requirement that all literacy-related curriculum and instructional materials must pass a state-sponsored cultural screening, which ironically is being used to ban books in schools. Article 2 is education innovation. This article provides for a new school performance report so parents can easily see how their students are performing in school. It defunds the Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Center at MDE and refocuses that money for the new Office of Achievement and Innovation. Instead of funding political agendas, members, we should be funding innovation and local control. Most importantly, this section unleashes local control to promote innovative and flexible education programs. We cannot expect every child to learn in the same way, and local control is innovation. Article 3 is funding flexibility and mandate relief. Under this article, local school boards engage with educators, parents, and their communities to decide how to spend available revenue or whether to delay any or many of the new mandates that have been imposed upon our schools over the last couple of years. There's one key limitation, unfortunately. We cannot allow schools to violate federal law in any of their fund transfers or mandate relief. Members, a fiscal note just came out last evening for this bill. I would like to make a few comments on that before I finish. It's really a very curious fiscal note. House File 6 is only 25 pages long. The fiscal note is 30 pages long. The fiscal note assumes a one-time cost of nearly $5 million for MDE to create a report telling parents how many children can read, perform math, and regularly attend school and graduate. Even though MDE has an entire online data center and current school performance report, literally called the Minnesota Report Card, the fiscal note assumes that MDE has to start from scratch and build an entirely new performance report. That's ridiculous. MDE currently has 475 employees, a $49 million payroll, but the fiscal note says MDE would need 13 more additional employees, including 5 employees to help schools teach children to read, which we should already be doing, by the way, 4 employees to tell parents if their children know how to read, and 5 employees to let schools be innovative. There's a section on the Educator Licensing Board, which is even more concerning. The licensing board is assuming new costs to make sure teacher preparation programs and teacher candidates are properly trained in the science of reading. According to this, the licensing board has made no changes to reform teacher preparation in the area of reading instruction. That's also ridiculous. Well, I believe this fiscal note relies on false assumptions and misplaced priorities. I will be asking the body to re-refer this bill back to Education Finance. But before I do, I would like to ask Chair Kresha, we've talked briefly about this, but would Chair Kresha yield for a question? Madam Speaker.
Representative Kresha will yield for a question. Representative Bennett.
Thank you. Chair Kresha, just a question. We spoke briefly about this, but could you just share your thoughts on sending this bill back to your committee?
Representative Kresha.
Thank you, Chair Bennett. And yes, the House Fiscal did come up with a fiscal note, and as said in the committee, I would recommend that we would have taken this back to committee. However, I see that we have an amendment, and which I didn't anticipate. I thought we could take this back to committee in good faith and work on that. You have a letter on your desk, members, from a number of organizations that are asking us to continually work on this. And so in light of that, Madam Chair, parliamentary inquiry.
State your point of parliamentary inquiry.
Is a motion to table the bill in order?
A motion to table the bill is in order. Representative Kresha.
And with that, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion to table House File 6. I was hoping to take it back to committee where we could work on it, but looks like that's not going to be an option for us.
Representative Kresha has made a motion to lay House File 6 on the table. That is a non-debatable motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. The motion prevails. Motions and resolutions. There are copies of the non-controversial motions at the House desk and online. If there is no objection, we will take action on these motions first. Hearing no objection, the motions prevail.
Walgamot moves that House File number 1642 be recalled from the Committee on Capital Investment and be re-referred to the Committee on Transportation, Finance, and Policy.
I recognize the member from Sherburne, Representative Walgamot.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. And it's actually Benton now. My fiance and I got a new house, so I'm from Benton. But Madam Speaker, that is my motion. I have talked to both committee chairs that House File 1642 be recalled from the Committee on Capital Investment, re-referred to the Committee on Transportation. House File 1642 is appropriating money for Highway 10 improvements. It is the authorization of trunk highway bonds, which is under the Transportation Committee's jurisdiction, not general obligation bonds, which is under the Capital Investment Committee's jurisdiction. So again, I appreciate the support from Chair Franzen and Chair Koznick, and I really hope that members will join me in voting for this motion. Thank you.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay. Motion prevails. Announcements. I recognize the member from Ramsey, Representative Lilly.
Thank you, Madam Speaker and members. We're having a little gathering up in room 316 for the Metro Parks and Trails, and I'm honored enough to serve with Representative Bakeberg as a co-chair, and you know, all of you campaigned, I know, on Parks and Trails. Well, maybe not, but I certainly did, and they're very popular. And please go up to room 316. There's some pizza and egg rolls and some cake and some other stuff if you're hungry. But love to see you all. A lot of your local representatives on the Parks and Trails will be up there. Thank you.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until 3:30 p.m. Thursday, March 13th, 2025.
Representative Niska moves that when the House adjourns today, it adjourns until 3:30 p.m. Thursday, March 13th, 2025. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed, nay? The motion prevails. Representative Niska.
I move that the House do now adjourn.
Representative Niska moves that the House do now adjourn. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed, nay. The motion prevails and the House stands adjourned until 3:30 p.m. Thursday, March 13th, 2025.